Hello everyone and welcome back to John Build. So as you can see, I'm working on the Sopwith Camel. So in the video you're about to watch, I'm actually going to be adding all this detail to this this starboard wing, and yeah, really are starting to take this incredibly difficult build to the next level. Okay, so as you can see, I've already really started to take this Sopwith Camel on to the next stage. So in this video I've already started doing this this port side of the wing. So in this video I'm going to just be carrying on and filling in this starboard side, where we start to just add some more ribs, and then we've got some photo wedge parts that we add in, and we make this first section, and then obviously later on in some later steps we really do continue this this wing. So yeah, you're probably thinking I've missed a few stages, but as you can see on this build, some of it was almost impossible to actually film and get a really good footage. There's going to be some more stages of this build where we get to add a little bit of this like wiring, so when we get to that stage I will film that. Okay, so I've just test fitted these little ribs earlier, so we can actually fit these now. So I'll just test fit them because we've had some of this photo wedge parts on these sections. These little grooves in these ribs were just not thick enough. So what I had to do is just take the file, and I've had to really kind of open them up. They're quite tricky, but yeah, it's take a little bit of time making sure you get this groove out or fit into these slots. Just so much nicer. So we have 3 to add first. So these are LW1 parts. So we've got 3 of them we add. So you can glue these in now, but because we've added all this trellis in, and this little like kind of over wooded it, so I don't really need to do that, because when we apply these, this kind of glues that in as well. Okay, so I've got this this part. This is slightly different, and this goes into the groove right on the first one, right up against where the cockpit is. And this is the most hardest one, because this is the one that's got the photo wedge parts on, that's kind of brought out the thickness. Well, this is where we have to kind of probably readjust it a bit more. So as you can see, I mean, this is the hard part about this build is actually knowing just where you can hold it, because it feels so fragile. So I'm probably have to slightly just open this one up just a little bit more. So you just can take my my little file and just take off a bit of this this front edge. Of course, this has got one that's got quite a bit of work to do on this one. I'm probably just going to use my knife just to cut it back, because they're about 1 mil that these removing, so take quite a bit to actually file off about 1 mil. So I'm just using the blade. So I'm just trying to slot this back in. Like I say, this is the hardest bit of this build, is actually holding it. You don't want to be forcing the parts in, so it does feel tight. Just take them off and just readjust it, take a bit more off. and then eventually it should fit in without having to be forced, because like I say, these parts are just so incredibly delicate. And that's now gone down, so we're going to turn it over and have a look how it sits on the back. Probably needs to go down just a touch more. That's not seated too bad, to be fair. Okay, like I say, you can glue these in, but I'm just going to leave them, and then obviously when we put all the other stuff on the top, that'll kind of glue and hold them all in place. Okay, so I've got a container here that's full of some photo etch parts, and these are all what we need for this this starboard wing. Like I say, you've seen me cut these parts out before, so I'm not going into that too much. But we just need this little part, and we're going to super glue that on this front edge. We've got a tiny little cut out right on the front of them that you can see, and that's where this part is just going to fit. I'm just going to take a little bit of super glue and just run a little bit on all these trenches. This particularly didn't glue that nice on the first side, on the port side, so hoping it glues a little bit easier. It didn't seem to take straight away, so what I'm going to do on this one is put a little bit on the metal part as well. I think one of the problems is the super glue is drying really quick. So what I'm going to do is just try and get this pegged. Best I can. I'm going down just the little sides without trying to glue on the pegs. Just run a little bit of super glue just down that edge, try and make it stick a little bit better. Okay, I'll leave that to dry a minute. Okay, so while that part's just drying, I've got a few more of these little photo etch parts just to fit. So this one kind of goes between these two first ribs, and it wants to be positioned with this bit of photo etch right up against that front edge, and then kind of glued on. So we'll say again, what we'll do, we'll get a little bit of super glue on this front edge, and then we'll kind of hopefully glue this one in place. Like I say, for some reason it didn't take the super glue very good last time, it just absorbs it. So I'll try again. Put a little bit on this front edge. This one's a little bit out of line, but that's more probably with this this rib that's a little bit twisted probably. But like I say, it's going to get covered by a little bit of that trellising, so we're not bothered about it that much. Let's see if I can get some kind of mini peg into that to kind of hold it. No, really difficult. Okay, so we can remove these. That first lot should be all dry. Okay, so we've got then this next part. And that's just going to go into that location. It's going to get glued in right about there. Actually, 4mm from that little end there, so it gets glued. Just apply a little bit to the back. And just adjust it accordingly. But that one there, that was actually sat quite nice. That's the first two on this side. Okay, so we've got two of these little brackets to fit as well. These are for the tensioning wires. So we need like a left hand on a right hand, and they fit just over that bracket there. Same again. Incredibly tricky to fit. Might just lay that one on and then adjust it with the tweezers. And then, because it's handed, I want the same on the other side. Put it kind of facing that way. Yeah, so you can see that they fit kind of a lot better on this side than they did on the other side. To go in there quite a lot easier this time around. Probably the same again, it's which when you've tend to do one side, the second side seems to be a little bit easier. So actually, to kind of complete this section, we have a tiny piece that has to be filled in just there. Same again, this is probably going to be really tight to fit, and it's probably going to need a bit shaving off. No, it's not too bad at the minute. Okay, so now we're going to add some of these little strips of this wood. This is the 0.5 by 2. It really could be, it should have been probably 0.5 by like 1.8. Could have been probably slightly a little bit too thick for the laser cut parts, but yeah, I don't particularly want to sand them all down when you've all fitted. It is barely noticeable, but yeah, we're going to kind of cover these parts. When you get away with it, if you want to fit in any of these photo etch parts, you could quite easily have glued them on first. So I'm going to add some PVA that's been kind of sat quite some time, so it's actually gone a little bit tacky, which I kind of like. And then I'm just going to brush a little bit of PVA on this edge. So I'm going to let this glue kind of sit there for about 5 minutes and start to go a little bit tacky. And what we need to cut these are around about 95, so I'll just put them onto my cutting mat, and I'll just cut them at a 95 length. And then I'm just going to kind of lay them over what we've already fitted. A little bit long, this one is 95 for the next one, this one's a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to put it flush with that part to start with. So I'm going to glue it there. I'm just going take one of these little mini pegs. So some of these little mini pegs, I've had to kind of cut them down, so I kind of cut a little slot out of them so I can kind of slide them into them these little ribs. But yeah, this is quite tricky. But yeah, by cutting them down, you can actually get them in there and it just clamp them in. But sometimes you have to cut them even finer. But yeah, that does clamp them down. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one to dry. And there's another piece that we need to add. Along this front edge, we need to add and like another section. We've got slightly a slight trench again. But this time we're going to actually fit a piece of 1.5 by 1.5. And that's going to fit just inside that trench there. So again, not going to be too accurate. I'll just cut a bit off, glue it in. No, in fact, actually, we need to be accurate on this one because we need to get it in between. Leave half of that little rib left over. So I'm going to mark that with a little pencil so it wants to be flush on that end. And then halfway along that one. Then just cut it with some little side cutters. And I'll just square up the end. Okay, so let's brush on some more of this PVA. And then we'll stick that part in. Let's get some more little clamps on this front edge. And this will kind of pull them all nice and tight. And just one more on. Okay, so we'll just leave that to dry another 10 minutes. Okay, so after that front section had dried, I just added a couple more of these like lattices kind of covers. I don't really know, laminate I suppose. It's just covering that burnt end from the laser cutter. So literally all we've got to do now is just trim these over and then flip it over and then just cover this other side as well. Plus we've got one more piece of faux edge to attach. So what I'm going to do is just take my side cutters, get it flush up to that piece of faux edge, and then just trim them back. We're kind of going to overhang that again in a minute with this part, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, so we've got this final piece of this faux wedge to add, and that's going to kind of mirror the part from below. So I'm actually going to try a little bit of contact adhesive this time, see if that makes a bit of a difference, because it won't stick in that great with super glue. So I just found a little bit of contact adhesive, and I'll just see if this one sticks a little bit better with that. Don't really like contact adhesive that much. I do prefer like maybe a 2 parts epoxy resin, but I just thought I'd give this a try. So all we're doing is just marrying up them two pieces, so they kind of mirror each other. It's quite hard from your angle. Yeah, so they mirror each other. But that does seem to have maybe stuck a little bit better. I just find it quite messy, contact adhesive. That leaves the trail of glue behind. But yeah, it does seem to have kind of stuck it a little bit better. Okay, so literally all we have to do now is kind of do this same procedure on this top as we did at the bottom. So I'll do the same again. Just apply some of this PVA glue. This is out of interest, everybody's interested. This is this Gorilla wood glue. I just use it all the time. I think if it becomes very tacky, which I like, it also almost adds like a super glue. How tacky it becomes, especially for wood. So I normally just apply it and I'll leave it about a minute just to kind of start to slightly harden again. Okay, so I just need a few more of these pieces that are cut at 95. So I'll say, luckily my cutting mat's in little 10mm squares, so I can cut it off at 95. And sometimes you want it as well, you can just get a wet paintbrush and just dampen the back edge of the part, and that just seems to make it stick a little bit more. And I'm just going to lay it over some more of these little clamps, and we'll clamp it into its final position. So these are curved, so these have to curve around. So get one of them clamps that I've cut down. Cut a bit too much off that one. This one will do it. So that holds that in the middle, then I can get the clamp on the front edge that'll offer that curve. So I'll put another one on because there's a bend just about there, and that will kind of keep that nice and flush. And then we'll get one on this this front edge. So now what I'm going to do then, just take my brush, just take off any excess. Okay, so this is stage 19 on the instructions. It's quite a long one. So what I'll do is I'll pretty much make this a bit of a two-part one, and we'll carry on with the next part of stage 19. We're just going to add a little bit of wire bracing, so that'll be kind of interesting because I didn't get to show you any of that in the last video. But literally, to just end this video now, all I've got to do is just put 4 more of these wooden covers over this edge, and that'll be completely exactly mirroring the starboard side. So, little question for people that are watching: after you've watched this video, just let me know if you've actually seen anybody that looks like they're actually building a more difficult kit than this, because if there is one, I don't know where it is myself, and yeah, it's incredibly difficult. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to be working on this now to hopefully near enough completion. So yeah, there's going to be quite a lot of videos coming your way.